What's up? What's up, guys? Another edition of the Unfiltered, should I say. I've done one of these in a little while, these shorter pods, but I did want to talk about the WWE Draft. I know we're like 4 or 5 days removed from the day 2 of the draft, but I wanted to talk about it. I know we did a little bit of that on the Take 3 podcast, Take 3 Wrestling podcast with the boys, but that was a group situation there. I wanted to kind of get more into the weeds about how I felt about the draft coming out of day 2 before this topic becomes irrelevant. Although these rosters won't take shape until after Crown Jewel, which is in 2 weeks. The Crown Jewel pay-per-view is in Saudi Arabia. I think you look at the rosters broadly, it's clear to me that the Raw roster looks much more improved than a SmackDown roster in comparison to the last year. The last year we went through. Obviously, Raw is the show that needs the most help, that needs the most, the most care, if you will. The complaints week after week has been Raw has been pretty much a very below average show, and I agree with that. Like, when I look at all the rest I watch between AEW, Dynamite, now I've got AEW Rampage, WWE Raw, and SmackDown. Like, I love SmackDown. It's been a fantastic show ever since Roman Reigns came back last year, and it's been a top-notch show. And you can also argue that the talent at least on level of Raw. But for some reason, the writing on Raw has not been up to par with SmackDown. Now, the thing is, yes, both shows do the same thing for the most part, repeat matches, all that. But there's much more intrigue with SmackDown. I think obviously the Roman storyline is obviously fantastic. It continues to be fantastic. He's been Universal Champion for the last year and some odd months. So there's that. But something about Raw, I kept my finger on. But I look at the rosters now, post-draft, and I think this could be the time where Raw starts to really get out the hole. Now, the last couple weeks they've done a good job. The show's done a great job, actually, of shaking things up a little bit. We can speculate about why that is the case. We can speculate about, well, they're doing this because, hey, AEW is now doing this and that, and maybe that's true, maybe it's not true. I mean, that's what we do as wrestling fans. We speculate and we just assume. That's what we do. But there's definitely been a change in terms of how Raw has been presented the last couple weeks. And I think it's a good thing. I think anything that's different is good. So I look at the rosters. Obviously, Roman Reigns staying on SmackDown. That's not a surprise. You want your biggest guy on the biggest station on network, which is Fox, and Roman Reigns obviously the big dog, the tribal chief, head of the table, all that, and he should be on the top roster. Big E, of course, went to Raw. No surprise there. I don't like that they split the New Day again for the second year in a row, but again, it is what it is. They want to spread the wealth, I guess. New Day going on SmackDown, Big E stay on Raw. A couple of things that stood out to me also too, the draft, that I think to keep note of. I think the women's division on Raw, on paper, is definitely more intriguing than the one on SmackDown. Now, that being said, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because I think there's some room now on SmackDown for women, some women on there, to really make an impact next year. Like, for example, so Raw, Becky Lynch went to Raw, so did Bianca Belair, and then even the rest of the roster still holds up pretty well on Raw. The SmackDown women's roster, after you get past Charlotte Flair, after you get past Sasha Banks, there's definitely a big question mark about who's who. But there's a lot of people on that roster that, for example, Xia Li, who got called to NXT, she made a splash. You got also, I think, really, to be honest with you, this is a perfect spot for Shayna Baszler to make an impact. Because, and obviously they split her and Nia Jax apart already. You put her on SmackDown, she can make a major impact on SmackDown now. And I think when you have that situation going, it's very possible that SmackDown could really benefit from new blood. You know what I mean? So I think Shayna Baszler is actually the one person on that women's roster, and I think and as I said, Xia Li as well too, and even Toni Storm that can actually really make an impact on that roster. because there's room for growth. It's not bloated in the same way Raw is. Also, another wrestler that's got my eye now is Ricochet. Ricochet has been on Raw for a good while, and that's on SmackDown. I think he's another one that can really benefit from being on a new territory, if you will. Ricochet, very talented. Pretty much been. When I got back watching wrestling, watching the current product in 2019, at the time he was being pushed. He won the U.S. Championship in that summer 2019, and then right after that, he just went by the wayside for whatever reason. Hasn't been pushed at all since. And obviously, he's not that great on promos, but he's fantastic in the ring, and he's very, very obviously he has a lot. The high flying stuff can definitely raise some positive eyebrows on SmackDown. So I think Ricochet can really make a splash on SmackDown moving forward. Other than that, I do think the Raw. Oh, well, another one, Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. A change of scenery is definitely needed, and I think depending on how you use him moving forward, he could be another future challenge for Roman Reigns. I even said last year that you can give Drew his moment. If Drew keeps momentum going forward, he can get the moment. He could be the guy to topple Roman Reigns by WrestleMania. I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's something I said a year ago that could, be something to consider because, Drew gets the moment finally in WrestleMania. Even though he won a title, it was obviously under at the PC, the Performance Center, and obviously he was the champion at a time where none of us fans can really react and be there to really appreciate. So if you can go Drew for Roman later, next year, So obviously Brock Lesnar is a free agent to go where he wants, and I think this Brock thing may go a long time. So there's that. Other than that, that's pretty much only the things that really stuffed me on the draft. So anyway, that's about it for now. So enjoy your weekend, and yeah, see ya.